Normally I don't dress like this, with a brain-computer interface and standing next to a robot. But it has a purpose. Obviously, the talk is about robots, and I'd like to really inspire you about the possibilities that are there with robots, but maybe also what the possibilities that are there with brain-computer interfaces. So if you look here, you can see the kind of the brain activity taking place. You can kind of compare that as a metaphor with musical notes. So let's say the high frequencies would be compared to a flute, and the kind of the low frequencies would be more with the bass. So the delta is going to be the bass, and the high pitch would be a flute. So really, I'm kind of excitable, I think, at the moment, quite highly engaged. But that's no surprise, I think, to see. I'll come back to this later on as well, because at one stage we actually controlled this particular robot next to me, control his motion, and also managed to control the lights with thinking about or concentrating about certain things. Okay, see if this one works. So this is a humanoid robot. It is completely flabbergasted by the amount of people that are here. So he's kind of, his eyes at the moment are a bit wide because he's looking at the bright lights. I'm trying to get sort of in contact with him and make him say something. I was afraid of this. As they say, never work with kids and animals, right? This is one of those, and robots in this case, of course. Now, introduce yourself.
My name is Now. I'm a humanoid robot and I'm 58 centimeters tall. I was born at Aldebaran in Paris. You can keep on asking me questions if you want.
No, I don't think I'm going to ask any further questions. Thanks for that. So yeah, you can talk to it, but it doesn't necessarily reason. It's kind of, you're asking him something to do and it responds, so it's programmed in that way. So it's not necessarily very clever. It doesn't have a high cognition. So yeah, this is Dr. Michio Kaku. He is a futurist. He is a physician, makes bold statements, very bold statements, but actually bold statements that I recognize myself in. Like for instance, this one that he feels that in the next 10 years, we will see the gradual transition from an internet to a brain net, in which thoughts, emotions, feelings, and memories might be transmitted instantly across the planet. So for me, that message resonates, and I think it also resonates throughout the presentation, I think, the brain capacity. Although it's about robots, I will come to the point where it makes sense what I'm talking about. And who knows, we reach a level of consciousness, or collective consciousness, the connectedness through brain thoughts and ideas. So yeah, my presentation is about the robots and AI. So a mix of robots, a mix of myself, and of course the mix of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, yeah. I hope actually you had a cup of coffee already this morning. You feel kind of in a state of alertness, sort of a high beta state, because there's quite a few things that we're going to discuss in the next sort of, 20 minutes that are very much into the space of artificial intelligence and cognitive science. So yeah, who am I? This is kind of the rundown of today. But the purpose really is here to inspire you, as I said before, and to kind of show you the possibilities that we have with robots today. So yeah, it's really my intention also to inspire you And my intention, of course, to kind of provide you with a perspective, a positive perspective of robotics and artificial intelligence. One that's able to increase the human potential and enrich our society at the same time. So there's four key areas that I want to cover. Who am I? What am I doing? The focus, which brands of robotics do I focus myself on? Because it's quite a wide area. The purpose, what's the purpose of robotics? Why are they here? What can we do with it? And also the innovation side, which is really the sort of the thing that I'm into myself. Now, how do we drive innovation? How we go about robotics? So, I've called myself many things, I suppose, but from a digital entrepreneur to an evangelist of emerging technologies, a hacktivist for good, all great names and probably very relevant for me at the time, but not necessarily relevant of what I wanted to be. I think I wanted to be always sort of an innovation catalyst. An innovation catalyst sort of catalyzing innovation and progression, working on sort of a spectrum across the social, the digital, the science and the technology. And I think that's what I am at the moment. I sort of took the step to organize hackathons. I'm not sure who is familiar here with hackathons. Who is actually familiar here with hackathons? Oh, there's quite a few people then. So yeah, which led me to set up a company called the Hackatarians. And the Hackatarians is really kind of, which I set up with a good friend of mine who is Richard Kastelein. And Richard Kastelein was basically the founder of the Hackfest, one of the early adopters, pioneers within the hackathon scene. So what does really Hackatarian stand for? If you look at a dictionary and look at hack and you look at Aryan, then you end up with this. It's a bit of magic. A hack is really like a skill, sort of a shortcut, sort of a method you can use to make things more efficient, faster, better, easier. And an Aryan, just like a humanitarian or a vegetarian, is a believer of something, or an advocate for something. So I'm a believer of hacking, but hacking for good at the same time. So as I said, who is familiar here with hackathons? And there's quite a few hands, but there was no hands than there were hands up. But in short, really, it's a like a short-term innovation event. You can compare it like a pressure cooker of 48 hours where people come together, multidisciplinary people come together, coders, designers, creatives, researchers, hackers, of course, as well, to kind of collaboratively code or brainstorm, hack, design, pitch around a particular challenge. We bring in a lot of type of solutions. We bring in data to the mix to make it relevant for them to start to hack. So we have smart data or other particular data. At the same time, we bring in tools such as brain-computer interfaces of robotics, as well as APIs and SDKs. They start to work on that. They look at the problem that they need to fix, and within 48 hours they have a working product if it all works well. And this is how they are starting to change, or at least come up with solutions to problems that are there. So that's really in a nutshell what a hackathon is about. But really what a hackathon also is about is to network, make friends, have fun. Because it does hit a bit of a plateau of fatigue, I think. Hackathons are everywhere these days. So it's very important to keep the ethos of a hackathon in a way that it's supposed to be. Okay, so besides that, I kind of represent the Royal Society of Arts. I'm not sure who is familiar here with the Royal Society of Arts in the UK, a British institution. Oh, that's easy then, no one. Okay, well, they call themselves they're kind of a bold statement or a bold mission to be the 21st century enlightenment, to enrich, the society through ideas and actions. And it sounds all very abstract, of course, in a way that anyone can say that, but they have done this for over 260 years. You know, they had nobles, past, present members, like Karl Marx or Nelson Mandela or Charles Dickens, Stephen Hawking, Tim Berners-Lee. Those people were, let's say, enlightening us about the possibilities. They're coming up with new frameworks, new thoughts that actually are here today. So it's fantastic to kind of at least represent somehow, as a connector for the Netherlands, this society. My purpose is to connect with people, to collaborate with people, to tackle problems that are there in the society. And I'm not talking about, you know, where do I leave my car? No, problems such as how do we collaborate on the economy? How do we share the economy? How do we create creative learning programs at school, in education? How do we actually tackle, you know, problems that are there which actually mean something, which matter? So if you have a program yourself, or you want to run a hackathon, then I'm willing also, of course, to collaborate on that. So robots, really the subject of today. Don't forget, there's a huge, wide variety of branches within the field of robotics. You know, from nano robotics, which are tiny little robotics like nano within your blood, down to you know, swarm robotics. But my focus really is on the humanoids, or the social and human side of robotics, the cognitive side of robotics, and the artificial intelligence that we can bring into it. And really, for the purpose, you know, I mean, my personal mission, I suppose, is to create that sort of to augment the human cognition, and to support humans to grow as much as they can. So the purpose really why I work with robotics is to increase the human potential, or even their cognition, for that matter. To support the elderly, who suffer from loneliness maybe, who suffer from Alzheimer's, who can't remember their own name, to kind of be there for them, to talk to them, right? But also for kids who suffer from autism, don't necessarily maybe have a necessarily feeling for empathy, to create that level of empathy with a robot. It's easier apparently for them. It's not proven, but it's empirically, yeah, proven, I suppose. Okay, so meet the robots, and especially the social and humanoid robots. These are the usual suspects, at least for now. There's ones that like Jibo on the left, which is not out yet. It's still in the Kickstart node. Down to Asimo, which is the Japanese from Honda, which is much more developed already as it is. Now, I'm going to show you a short clip.
Fluidly up a set of stairs without stopping, an ability that we are showcasing here for the very first time in the world.
We're also showing the advanced dexterity that Osmo has.
The stuff that seems kind of everyday, like picking up a cup and pouring it and all that, is actually even more exciting in some ways than the running, because to figure out cup, pour, don't crush, keep it balanced, that's pretty exciting. It means they're starting to figure it out.
A part of me feels that it's amazing to be living in a time where science fiction is becoming a little bit of a reality. I was able to shake Asimo's hand, and that was pretty cool. Like, you can't always say every day you get to shake a robot's hand.
Introducing Jibo, the world's first family robot. Say hi, Jibo.
Hi, Jibo.
Jibo helps everyone out throughout their day. He's the world's best cameraman. By intelligently tracking the action around him, he can independently take video and photos, so that you can put down your camera and be a part of the scene.
Jibo, take a picture.
He's a hands-free helper. You can talk to him, and he'll talk to you back, so you don't have to skip a beat.
Excuse me, Anne?
Yes, Jibo.
Melissa just sent a reminder that she's picking you up in half an hour to go grocery shopping.
Thanks, Jibo.
Thanks. Are you ready to do some work this morning?
Sure.
So yeah, I think personally it's fascinating to see what you can do with robotics. I mean, you clearly have them, these are all social robotics and humanoids, but they can be used for entertainment at home. You know, really the last one you saw is purely for entertainment, dancing in the house, but also, you know, be able to kind of communicate with it. Down to the smaller one, the Jibbo, which is much more about a family robot that takes pictures and kind of sends you reminders, etc. So you can already see there's a lot of possibilities with robots that are kind of endless, I suppose. Think of it as an interface between, you know, yourself and the world out there, like a mobile phone. I mean, what did we do? What did we do in 2007 with our mobile phone, right? No, or even in 2000, no one thought they would walking around with a mobile phone. 15 years later, right? I mean, we all have one. We don't leave it. I'm not saying that it's going to be the same with robotics, but it's definitely going to be a similar type of thing, I think, happening, especially where it's needed. So yeah. Which actually brings me into cognitive robotics, which is exactly the interaction of cognition and robotics. You know, the kind of robotics that can deal with perception, attention, memory. It's the pure cognition, like you and I can do. Well, I don't remember most of it, like I'm standing here just not remembering some of my lines, but a robot it wouldn't happen. You program it, you give it something, and it memorizes stuff. So really a robot well, the cognitive robots are much more, you know, consistent, I suppose, than humans would be. Which kind of also brings me to the area within artificial intelligence, which is called cognitive computing. And I try to keep it as simple as possible, otherwise I wouldn't understand it myself, but it's really a simulation of the human thought process. It's mimicking how we think and how we reason. So, and from what I understand from cognitive computing, is that it actually is capable of making robots more human. And that's really what I suppose, an advocate for, the humanization of robotics. To actually allow them to interact with humans on human terms. To interact with us, to learn from their experiences. That's what I find very important that robots ultimately will get. Otherwise it feels very far-fetched and it's very scary in a way, maybe. I'll show you the last sort of short clip, explaining a little bit more about.
Watson and its cognitive capabilities mirror some of the key cognitive elements of human expertise. Systems that reason about problems like a human does. When we as humans seek to understand something and to make a decision, we go through 4 key steps. First, we observe visible phenomena and bodies of evidence. Second, we draw on what we know to interpret what we're seeing, to generate hypotheses about what it means. Third, we evaluate which hypotheses are right or wrong. Finally, we decide, choosing the option that seems best and acting accordingly. Just as humans become experts by going through the process of observation, evaluation, and decision-making, cognitive systems like Watson use similar processes to reason about the information they read. Watson can also do this at massive speed and scale.
Yeah, so as I said, it's very short. Which kind of brings me to the last couple of slides. I'm hosting a hackathon, or an ideathon in this particular case, this afternoon, well, 1 o'clock. So I have to kind of shoot off straight after this, which is at the Beurs of Berlage, or close to the Beurs. So Meet the Robots is two parts. It's got an ideathon, which is really kind of generating ideas around the use of robotics, and within the frame of helping our society again, helping the elderly, etc. And it's a pre sort of event for the hackathon itself. So we want to have the right ideas. We want to make sure that we collaborate and collectively brainstorm about the ideas. We have great speakers. We have great speakers from Watson, as you just saw. And we have a couple of professors who are much more capable and certified to actually talk about those kind of type of things. So I hope it's going to be an exciting type of afternoon. It's about 70 people that turn up, so it could be quite exciting. And so yeah, just maybe one or two slides to kind of finish off with the process that we follow here to generate those ideas around robotics is the World Cafe method, and it's probably quite a notorious one. But we've sort of sectioned it off in 5 different adoption stages, from fun and games down to sort of body and life. And anything in between, from home assistants, work assistants, and caretakers. So it's really the kind of the collective IQ or the collective sort of brainstorm that's happening. People move around the tables all the time. We've got 5 tables, move on to the next table, move on to the next table. So every single individual in that room will actually look at your ideas or the previous ideas. So there's no really one winner. Everyone is a winner. And at the same time, we've installed a kind of the crowd voting principle as well. So everyone will vote for their own ideas, basically. And the best ideas, they will again go into the hackathon. A couple of categories: fun, creativity, ingenuity, impact and practices. Those are the awards that we give away today. And that's really all I would like to and can share. Because of the time, it's already 9:30 now. So thank you, everyone is a winner.